There are two kinds of people building wealth right now in this country. The first kind, you can spot them. New car, nice shoes. They talk about their portfolio at dinner. They want you to know. The second kind, you've probably already dismissed them. You've already made the mistake. Because the second kind drives the beige sedan in the back of the lot. They bring their lunch. They don't post about their investments. They don't have a financial journey highlight reel. And they are quietly becoming the richest people in every room they walk into. This is the story of that second kind of person. And more importantly, it's the story of what that strategy actually costs them. Because nobody talks about that part. Stay with me. Because the ending of this story is not what you expect. Let's start with a number. $214. That's what was in the checking account on a Friday night after rent, after the student loan payment, after the electric bill that came in $11 higher than last month. $214 and 9 days until payday. Most people in that moment make one of two moves. They open DoorDash, or they open their credit card app to check the available balance like it's a lifeline. But here's the move that changes everything. And it feels almost stupid when you're staring at $214. You open a brokerage account instead. Not because you have money to invest, because you read something once that's stuck. The people who wait until they can afford to invest never do. So you set an automatic transfer. $75 a month. Paycheck goes in. $75 leaves before you can touch it. Before you can talk yourself into a reason it makes more sense to wait. That first month, you watch the account. You check it more than you check your texts. $75 sitting there, buying fractional shares of an S&P 500 index fund, like it's doing something ridiculous and small and maybe pointless. It is small. It is not pointless. Here's the thing about starting when you have nothing. You have no habits to protect yet. No lifestyle inflated to a level that owns you. No monthly payments standing between you and your future. When you're broke and free at the same time. That's the window. Most people don't realize it's a window until it's already closed. 2 years pass. The account is at $4,300. Small by any standard. Enormous by the standard of where it started. Then comes the raise. Not a dramatic one. $5,200 a year, which lands as about $320 extra per month after taxes. For approximately 3 days, it feels like wealth. Then the dealership email arrives. Brand new crossover. $0 down, $412 a month. And for a moment, a real moment, you think about it. You've been driving a car with a busted passenger window that takes both hands and a specific shoulder movement to open. $412 a month felt like justice, but you do something dangerous instead. You open a calculator. You type in $412 a month. You type in 7 years. You type in an 8% average annual return. Conservative, realistic, boring. You hit calculate. The number that comes back is $43,600. You stare at that number for a while, because that's not $412 a month. That's $43,600 of future financial options you either keep or trade for a car that will be worth $11,000 by the time you finish paying for it. You close the email, not because you can't afford the payment. You almost can now. You close it because for the first time, the payment stopped looking like a car and started looking like what it actually is. A trade. Your future for an image. Right now, today. Here's what nobody tells you happens next. When you start making decisions that most people around you aren't making. When you drive the old car on purpose. When you pack lunch while everyone else does the $17 salad. Something shifts socially. It's not dramatic. There's no fight. There's no moment. There's just a quiet gap that opens between what you're doing and what you're explaining. Because you can't explain a compound interest calculator at a birthday dinner. You can't say, I didn't come to Vegas because I'm watching a number on a spreadsheet grow. That doesn't land. That sounds strange at best and judgmental at worst, even when you mean neither. So you just say you're busy. You just say maybe next time. And over months, over years, the gap gets wider. Not because you're better than anyone, because you're running a different operating system and the two don't sync. That quiet distance, that's the first real cost. And it shows up before the strategy has even started working. The account crosses $30,000 on a Sunday morning while you're doing laundry. You check the number. You put your phone down. You move the laundry to the dryer. No celebration, no post, no screenshot to anyone. Just the number, the dryer running, and the quiet understanding that the machine is working. At work, your manager does a team meeting about budgeting. He has a slide. The slide has clip art on it. You sit in the back. You have 14 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account. You take no notes. You applaud when everyone applauds. After the meeting, a coworker named Marcus tells you he really needs to start an emergency fund. You say, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And you go back to your desk because there is no version of the real conversation that helps Marcus right now in a hallway next to the coffee machine. The real conversation takes years. It started at $214 on a Friday night. You can't hand someone a shortcut to a moment that only makes sense in hindsight. So you say, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And you sit down, and the account keeps compounding in the background, quiet as a clock. Net worth hits $180,000. You don't tell anyone except the one person who earns that trust slowly, honestly, over years of watching you make the same boring decision over and over again. But then comes the phone call. Your closest friend, someone you've known since you were 19, the kind of person who shows up when things fall apart without needing to be asked, needs help. Not a huge number, $4,500. Medical situation, insurance gap. He's embarrassed asking. You can hear it. All the qualifications around the ask. All the, "I completely understand if you can't." You say yes, immediately. No conditions. He pays you back in full 4 months later. But something shifts anyway. Slowly. The way things that matter always shift slowly. He starts insisting on paying for lunch every time. Then dinner. Then he apologizes once, in the middle of a conversation about something else entirely, for always needing things. You tell him that's not true. He nods like he believes you. He doesn't. And you understand then that the distance didn't open with that phone call. It opened years earlier. In every decision you made quietly. In every number you didn't share. In every year the gap between your two financial realities grew. Not because either of you did anything wrong, but because the strategy works by staying invisible. And invisible to the world also means invisible to the people who love you. That's the cost that never shows up on the spreadsheet. Not in dollars. In the slow, quiet drift of people who knew you before the number got large. Here's what all of this actually means. Practically, concretely, right now. Stealth wealth isn't about being cheap. It's about being deliberate. It's the decision to stop performing financial status and start building actual financial mass. The math is simple. Every $400 a month you're not spending on a car payment, invested consistently over 15 years at historical market averages, becomes somewhere between $130,000 and $160,000. That's not a theory. That's arithmetic. But the mindset shift underneath the math, that's harder. It's deciding that the image of wealth is not the same as wealth, and that the fastest way to stay broke is to spend money convincing people you're not. Somewhere right now, someone is signing a 72-month car loan in a dealership showroom. The salesperson is smiling. The monthly payment sounds manageable. They'll post a photo from the driver's seat before they leave the lot. And somewhere in a different parking lot, an ordinary car, no one glancing twice, someone is running numbers on a 10-year-old phone that still works fine, watching a balance grow that nobody will ever see coming. Both of those people will be at the same age in 15 years. One of them will have options the other can't imagine. The options don't come from income. They don't come from luck. They come from the 100 small decisions nobody saw, nobody clapped for, and nobody posted about. You already know which one you want to be. The question is whether you're willing to be invisible long enough to get there. If this hits something real for you, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Not to lecture them, just because sometimes the right story at the right moment changes everything. And if you want to go deeper on the actual numbers, the index funds, the Roth IRA, the mechanics of how this actually works, that's the next video. It's already there. Watch it.